Hi. First, I asked the Tree Oracle for 3 takeaways from this last week's events. Could Armageddon be on the horizon? What have we learned about our dear leader that we didn't know already? What will be the consequences of this war? The 3 cards I drew were Hawthorne reversed, lack of commitment, Jawari, light as a feather, insubstantial, and Holly, transformation, metamorphosis, and revision. What these cards tell me is that the Orange Man relates to everything as his own personal game show. Am I going to blow this country back to the Stone Age? Tune in at 8 p.m. tomorrow to find out. After he got into office a second time, rather than doing things to help the American people, he began playing with his power, insulting allies, imposing random tariffs, and trying to annex nearby countries. And then he started playing games with the world's most powerful military, and it was a rush. Wow, let's do it again. Then one of our so-called allies, who wanted their enemies destroyed and knew they couldn't do it by themselves, saw their chance and persuaded him, saying, "Now's the time, let's get rid of these dangerous guys once and for all." And the Orange Man, drunk with his new power, said, "Okay, I'm down with that, let's go." These last weeks have proved that he's totally unserious. As I say, it's a game show. In truth, he is an insubstantial man. When push comes to shove, he makes a lot of bluster and threats, and then, as we've seen over and over, he tacos out. Problem is, what he's achieved this time is a huge mess, and I doubt he has the brains to sort it out, and none of his sycophants around him do either. As a result, we will have transformation, a revision of the balance of power in the world, perhaps, of our standing in the world. There's a good chance of that. And remember, this is all adding billions to our national debt. Anyway, the next few weeks will begin to tell what the transformation will look like. So the second question I asked the Tree Oracle was, how is this situation going to affect the American public and the future of our country? The cards I drew were Brazil nut, joined, uniting, being involved; cherry, continuation, prolonging, carrying on, resumption; and shagbark hickory, with a flourish, to thrive, to bloom, to progress. If I read these cards correctly, we the people will have learned that in order to assure the continuation of our nation, we must unite. We will survive what will probably be a climactic ending to his administration, and afterwards will resume making progress in relation to human rights, and we will work to guard our future against those who have lost themselves to greed, those who worship power and wealth at the cost of all life. This is LauraJthe.Treetalker. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. See you next time. Bye.